Alright guys, I'm going to be showing y'all how I make my tortillas. Everyone does them a little bit differently, but this is just how I like to do them. I'm going to start off by using all-purpose flour. We're going to be doing 4 cups of it. I totally don't remember where I put my other measuring cups, so we're just going to be using this little half cup right here. But just spoon the flour in and then level it off. And then from there, we're going to be using vegetable oil, excuse me. We're going to be using 10 tablespoons of it. If you're doing a double batch like me, that's equal to a half a cup plus 2 tablespoons. But if you're just going to do one batch, then it's just 5 tablespoons. But once we add that in, we're going to use a fork. I'm using a plastic fork. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's not the best idea. I was just trying to have less stuff to wash. But, I'm going to just fork it in like that and kind of until it gets all crumbly. So now that it's all crumbly, we're going to set that aside and we're going to grab our bowl of water. So it's going to be 2/3 a cup of water, and then we're going to add in a couple teaspoons of sea salt. I don't really measure. I just kind of eyeball it. But we're going to be adding approximately about 2 teaspoons. And we're just going to kind of mix that into our very warm water until it dissolves. And then we're going to grab, I use whole milk personally. So I'm not sure if 2% would work. But I don't see why it wouldn't. But I'm going to add in 2/3 a cup of it as well. And then we're just going to mix that together real good to make sure it's all combined. You see my quail eggs back there? They have been producing like crazy lately. I got a dozen yesterday. I'm on track today to get more than that. But, so once we do that, we're going to grab our bowl and we're going to start to pour it in. We're going to pour most of it in, but not all of it. Because humidity outside is going to be different every time. But you're going to usually use the majority of it. So you just want to kind of mix that all together. Just get it all blended and then see if you need some more. If it's too dry, add just a little bit more. If it's too sticky, you can add a little bit of flour. I probably should add a little bit of flour right here, but I didn't because I knew I was going to flour my surface really well. So just flour it pretty good because you don't want it to stick to your countertops. But I have only had an issue with it sticking once, and I've made these multiple times. It's usually pretty good about not sticking to everything. But I do prefer to flour my hands when I'm going to knead it out, just because I do not like stuff gooking all up on my hands like dough can. But you're just going to knead this really well for 2 or 3 minutes, honestly. At first, it just kind of pushes out like that, but once it gets good kneaded, it'll kind of start to pull itself back together, if that makes any sense. Once you get a couple minutes into kneading, you'll completely understand what I'm trying to say. And like right here, it kind of stuck just a little bit to the counter, so I just put a little bit of flour back on that spot, and I didn't have an issue with it after that anyways. But see, it kind of just once you push on it at that point, it doesn't really hold its shape as well. It comes back together. So that's why I'm kind of spreading it like that, because I was just trying to really get in there a couple more times, because I have had an instance where my oil kind of clumped together a little bit, and you want to make sure that everything's equally mixed. But you're just going to start pulling off little balls, not too big. Sometimes I actually weigh them out personally, usually to about 1.5 ounces. But this time I just eyeballed it. So there you go. That made 21 balls of dough. And I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm going to cover them up. And you can let them rest for anywhere from 45 minutes to a couple hours, honestly. These, I let them rest for about an hour. Some of the oil will start to come up like that. You'll see it kind of starts to sweat some of it. And I just kind of use it and pat off just a little bit of the excess oil on the top. Look at that. See, I went outside and I did an egg collect while I was out there. And now we're back inside after we have let these just rest. And we're going to begin to roll them out. They're probably going to be about 6 inches around, but I do not make mine perfectly circle. You do not have to strive for perfection. You're literally going to eat it. It's going to be okay. So that's the way I do it. I just do a few little rolls over it, kind of firmly pressing. I have found that going over it multiple times honestly just makes it too thin in certain spots. But the video kind of skipped a little bit. So right here, I have turned the eye on medium. Usually I find, though, on hotter days, after a couple tortillas, I've got to turn it down a little bit. It gets too hot. So I turn it down, you know, probably just a couple notches, honestly. But it'll start to bubble up like that. You only have to let it cook on each side for about 30 to 40 seconds. And then I like to check it. The first couple, kind of get an idea how the stove's going to do, because I have an older stove. But yeah, then you're just going to flip it over and you're going to let it begin to cook on the other side. Those bubbles, that's what's cooking the inside of the tortilla. So that is a good thing. That way you don't have that doughy inside. This was one that I rolled out a little bit thinner in that video that you guys, well, not in the video. In this video, which you just previously saw, that was what I did, is I just rolled it out a little bit thinner. As you can see on that plate in the back, I have one that I rolled out a little bit thicker. It's not quite as large. So I'm about to take this off the plate now, or the stove, and I'm going to put it on a plate, and I'll show you guys what I did, or how that other smaller one did. It actually bubbles up a lot more being thinner like that. So let me grab it and get it on there. And then you're going to watch. I mean, it bubbles up quick, but it got massive. But I will say, these are some of the best homemade tortillas that I've done. I have made them with masa before, doing a corn tortilla. It's just about as easy as the flour tortillas. But personally, my husband prefers the flour tortillas, and so does my daughter. So that's just what we do in this household. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe. I'll try to make more content, more cooking, more about my quail, just everything. But thank you guys so much, and I hope y'all have a great day. See how big it got?